Transfer news is rife as we head into December, with Derby County expecting a couple of outgoings during the January transfer window, and a range of different moves are already being prepared. Now, John Eustace did confirm in his most recent press conference that he is already looking at plans for January, but he is clear that he does not want to forget about the players that he already has in the building, and he also wants to focus on what we're doing right now. Now, obviously, there's still a lot of work to do for Derby County, but we do sit currently in 8th position as of time of recording this video, with a game up against Middlesbrough this afternoon. Now, obviously, you can let me know your thoughts on all this news down in the comments if you have not done so already. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. We're getting closer to Christmas. What presents is John Eustace bringing? Now, this is the Derby Digest. We're going to be live every single away game for a live Derby County watch along, and also during the January transfer window, we're going to be live every single evening. So make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell. This is the Derby Digest. Now, as you can see, scrolling across on screen to my right or left hand side, I've got no idea. There's a lot of moves going on. There's a lot of talks going on behind the scenes. And one of the biggest ones is one which I made a video on a couple of days ago in regards to that of Jacob Widell Zetterström. He is being targeted by Nottingham Forest in a deal which could see him go and join the Premier League club. Now, this is a big deal for me, and it's something that I believe we do have to talk about, because I think when we look at Zetterström, he's obviously a very, very good performer. He's got aspirations of being a Premier League goalkeeper. He's got aspirations of being the number one for Sweden as well. And the only way that he's going to be able to do that, for one, in my opinion, is playing one at a higher level than Victor Johansson, and two, either getting promoted with Derby or moving clubs. So we're sort of going to have to see sort of how that develops over the course of the next few weeks. Obviously, if we go back to the summer, Zetterström was linked with a move to Brentford for around £3.5 million. However, that deal quite obviously never came to fruition, hence why he's still at Derby County. And if I'm completely honest with you, I think if this deal is going to happen, it's got to be within the 10 to £11 million range at minimum. If it is to Nottingham Forest, you probably want a little bit more than that as well, just with them being such close rivals. Now, obviously, we are going to have to sort of wait and see sort of how this progresses. Obviously, Forest have a massive array of goalkeepers, and they've been through quite a few goalkeepers over the course of recent years as well, which puts you in, realistically, a really difficult position as a goalkeeper if you are Zetterström, because you look at it and you go, am I going to be first choice? And the answer is probably no. You're going to have to sort of work into that position, whereas at the moment he's continuing to develop at Derby County, where he's playing every single week and he's our number one keeper, and he's by far one of the best keepers in the division. But we're going to have to sort of wait and see how that progresses. Now, on to story number 2, and that comes in the form of Louie Barry. Now, Louie Barry is a player who Derby County have looked at over the course of the last 3 or 4 transfer windows, really, but unfortunately not been able to get a deal done. Now, if we go back to January, Derby County tried to get a deal done, but the loan fee was a little bit too high. I believe it was in the region of around £1 million. And he then ended up going to Hull City, where he picked up an injury, and then obviously didn't play for the rest of the season pretty much. And then you look at what happened in the summer. Again, Derby County were trying to get a deal done. He ended up choosing to go to Sheffield United to play under Ruben Selles. That obviously did not go to plan, and he's not really been a key figure for them over the course of recent weeks. And it looks as if he's going to sort of be recalled in January as a result of an injury on his knee. But we're going to have to wait and see what sort of happens with that one. There is rumours that the likes of Derby, Stoke, Hall are all looking at trying to get a deal done in January. But we are going to have to sort of wait and see for me, because I think the Louie Barry deal is one where you do get a lot of doubts for me, because you obviously go back to last year with Hull City, picked up that injury, missed the second half of the season. You look at this year, not really played for Sheffield United. So you put yourself in a bit of a position where, for me, is it really a deal that makes sense? And I think at the moment, in my personal opinion, I'd have to say that that deal doesn't make sense. However, you can never have too many options in the forward line, and that's exactly what John Eustace will be thinking, in my personal opinion. So we're going to have to sort of keep an eye on that as well. Now, there has been a rumour circulating since the summer pretty much in regards to former Derby County Academy graduate Kaide Gordon with a potential move back to Pride Park. Now, we spoke about this in the summer over on my main channel. If you haven't already, go and check that out. Or if you're over here from there, let me know down in the comments. And that was a deal that Derby explored in the summer when they were struggling for wide options and we sort of needed players in that position. We ended up going and picking up Barrera and we put ourselves in a really, really good position with that. And as we head into January, do I think that more moves need to be made in sort of that forward area? Absolutely, especially with us at the moment, obviously losing Carlton Morris till around February. You put yourself in a really difficult spot in those sort of forward areas. Now, I don't think Kaide Gordon is the player that we'd bring in to replace Carlton Morris in that forward area, but he's obviously a player who can come in and play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play through the middle as a number 10 as well, so it's excellent for what Derby County need. Now, obviously in regards to that of Kaide Gordon, he's not had a very good last few years, obviously picked up some huge injuries at Liverpool not long after he moved there. Had a really good first couple of seasons with Jurgen Klopp, got many first team opportunities, but then sort of fell off the wagon a little bit in terms of those injuries. And I think when you're looking at this deal, it's probably more of a deal where Derby County are looking to give him a break, give him an opportunity to slowly build himself back in, and we'd sort of have to wait and see sort of how that goes. Now, obviously, in regards to that, it puts us in a really difficult position because as much as I'd love the idea of Kaide Gordon coming back to Derby County and finally hitting form in his career, I also think that Derby County can't really take that chance with the position that we're in on a player who struggled at Portsmouth last year and ultimately has struggled over the course of the last few years. I think he was at Norwich last season as well before he went to Pompey. And it's just a deal that hasn't really quite gone to plan. Now, we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, there's a lot of discussions that can be had in regards to that. If he wants to come back to Derby County, let's try and make a deal happen, get him involved in the B team, get him back fit, get him firing, and see if he can break his way into the first team. I have no problems with that, but we will wait and see. Now, obviously, we've got rumours of John Textor over the course of the last few weeks, with two players potentially joining up with Derby County that he is attempting to bring over should he get his deal done. Now, do I expect these deals to happen? No. Do I expect John Textor to take over Derby County? Again, probably not. But do I think there's obviously situations there that he could potentially get himself involved in? Absolutely. Now, what Derby County have to do in this position is be very, very smart about what they're doing in regards to that of John Textor, in regards to where they're going in the future of Derby County Football Club, because we don't want to put ourselves in the shit in order to bring in a guy like Textor, in my opinion. Obviously not had the greatest of histories in football. Obviously, you look at the Crystal Palace saga. There's obviously an ongoing saga with Botafogo right now as well. And then obviously you look at the situation with Leon over the course of the last 12 months. Now, obviously, there is a lot to learn from this, and in my opinion, do I think any of these transfers will come to fruition? I think Louie Barry is definitely one which we can keep an eye on. And I also think that the situation with Zetterström is something to keep an eye on as well. Why he still only has 18 months left on his contract, that's a deal that could potentially be done. Now, obviously, you can let me know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments. This has been the Derby Digest. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.